Hello, welcome to another Touchygooners podcast. My name is Lewis, and I've got a full stat cast with me today. I've got Nigerian Dan. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
We got Shabs. Hopefully, you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I'm fresh. I've been laying the smack down in the GC today, man. I'm ready.
Yeah?
I'm ready. Yeah, man. I'm ready.
Cool. We'll see. we got German Dan. We had to con him on to come on the podcast to say we were talking about Ozil today, and he's distraught. he's absolutely distraught that we're not doing the Ozil special.
You guys got me. You got me. You got me now.
Got me now.
Got me now.
We got Dr. Leroy as well, fresh out of eating his Eba. How are you doing, sir?
I'll have you know, I was having smiley faces and sausages, big man.
Whoa. For the culture, eh?
Nah, bro. I was at one out of your cookbook.
You can't go wrong with the Delia Smith cookbook, can you?
Cultured, fam. I'm joking. I don't believe that shit. No one believe I eat that shit. Come on.
As you can see, everyone's in positive spirits. If you were lucky enough to be a patron, then you would have caught our post-match instant. I might add instant post-match analysis after the Newcastle win on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday now? No. Wednesday today? Monday. Yeah, so if you were lucky enough to be a patron, you can subscribe and you can get all the instant post-matches on the Patreon there, so you can get it right away. So forgive us if we don't cover the game in too much detail today. If you want the more in-depth breakdown, go and catch it on our Patreon page. The link is in the bio. You can subscribe for as little as £5 a month. Tune into the Discord. Obviously, this pod is going to be on our own YouTube page as well. So we're on there on Touchygooners on YouTube. Subscribe. That's the most important thing. Subscribe. If you're watching live now, don't you dare tune in and not subscribe. Please subscribe. Press the subscribe button. Thank you very much. Dan, can we have like a little icon there that says subscribe, please?
Louis put everyone on notice. Man saying like he's going to come to your house and do something.
No, the subscriptions are very important. And just a quick one as well before we start. This podcast is brought to you in partnership with Fanslide. Fanslide is football's first in-play fantasy football game. It's a very, very interesting concept. I used it today. Unfortunately, Man United come back and won. It was we knew United would come on strong in the end. Unfortunately, they keep ploughing along and getting those points in. Unfortunately, the luckiest, jammiest cunts in the world. But we won't talk too much about that. If you want to join in with the Fanslide action, you can follow the link in the bio, download the app, and it's a chance to win some cash prizes as well. So get in with the action there. Guys, let's start with the Newcastle game. I'll go to Shabs and Leroy first, since me and the two Dans did the Patreon piece. How impressed were you with the performance overall? And is the feel-good factor starting to return to you guys? I'll start with you, Shabs.
Yeah, for me, there's still some bums in there, man. Like, let's just have it right. There's still some bums in there. I won't say I'm head over heels over everyone's performance, but Saka, he continues to do his thing. Like, I've been backing this guy, in his corner for time. Very happy with his performance. I was happy that Tierney made the game and that he could play. Again, he put in another solid performance. Delighted with the boy ESR, man. Absolutely delighted with him. Again, I don't actually think he's been he's done anything outstanding. I think just the fact that he's a presence and the way he plays and his style of play gives us so much. Partey probably didn't really get out of that second to third gear. I think he's got so much more room to go. He had a fantastic game, and Aubameyang got goals. And we kept a clean sheet. So it's kind of hard to argue with that. But yeah, man, I was happy overall with the result and the performance. Albeit the Newcastle side were piss poor. But I'm taking the win every day of the week.
Yeah, Leroy.
overall, I was actually really impressed with the performance, and that's not actually just looking in hindsight, because obviously when you've had a 3-0 win, it can kind of taint your view looking back on the game. When I actually even think about the first half, I was actually thinking, when I watched the first half, I thought we were going to score. I didn't feel at any point that we weren't going to score. I thought we were putting in a lot of work, and I thought we do need to get the goal quickly, but I was really impressed with a lot of performances from a lot of players. I think Arteta going back to basics is done him really well, and just putting round pegs and round holes. It's just like common sense management, isn't it? But yeah, I think we're looking good. I was really happy with the midfield, actually. I think Xhaka needs to get a little bit of credit, even though he's not the guy long term. Yeah. He's been doing quite well in the last couple of games. Partey is the thing he's calling a monster club. I just think his level. I just think that's him. So yeah, like ESR, Saka doing well. Boy, it's looking up. It's looking up. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, man. Like you mentioned there about Arteta going back to basics. Like football can be such a simple game. You know, like you said, you play the players in the right positions. You fill the gaps that need to be filled. You play your footballers, and you know, all of a sudden we start looking like a competent football side. Let me bring the two Dans into the conversation. Do you echo Shabs and Leroy's thoughts? Were you as impressed with the performances as they were?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of good performances there today. I don't think anyone really put a foot wrong. You know, even guys like Cedric and that. You know, I think they gave a good account of themselves. So, you know, I think Newcastle they're a bad team in it. Like, let's not beat around the bush. So this is the thing with this latest run of form. I do wish it was against better teams that we played. Obviously, you can only beat who's in front of you, but I do. I'm not gonna be one to get carried away and say, you know, the feel good factor's back again, because particularly I don't really know what our level is just yet. You know, I think Newcastle they're a shocking team. They're just not compact at all. They tried to press high, but then left like loads of space in behind. I didn't really know what they were. What game plan they had, playing 3 strikers across the front line, you know, to be more attacking. I think Steve Bruce is a bit clueless, personally. So,
how is he still a Premier League manager, by the way?
Yeah, it's mental. It's mental. I think he's got the lowest win percentage of any Premier League manager with like more than like 200 games or something like that. So
scary.
You know, he's a bum in it. So, you know, I think that was a game that, you know, at home, if we can't win that 3-0, you're going to be asking serious questions, kind of thing. So, you know, it was sort of a routine win, but obviously this season we ain't really had many of them. So, you know, you have to take them when they come.
The thing is, though, that's the exact type of game we've been struggling with for however long.
We struggled against them a couple of weeks ago in the FA Cup.
Yeah, but the other games against the bigger teams, we've been finding a lot easier, and it's the games against teams that can't really actually hurt us that much, or can only really hurt us on the break, and that we have to break down, we've been struggling against. So the fact that, okay, I'm not saying we've cracked the puzzle from that, but the fact that at least we have a plan of action of how to approach those games and get results is a little bit reassuring. So, you know what you were saying before, Nigerian Dan, about I see if we upgrade the players significantly, we will be a lot better. I didn't see that before because I didn't like the system we were playing, and I didn't see that. Now, with this system, I can imagine if we upgrade the players in the positions the way we're playing now, I can see what you were saying before.
Yeah, I think I echo the thoughts of the guys. I think we look competent again. We didn't look competent for a long time, but we look competent again. So, and that game we were quite good, especially second half. So I think that gives us a basis of actually competing with teams and looking to win games. I think the next couple of fixtures are obviously more difficult. So we're going to learn more about the team and how far we can go this season, particularly with this crop of players. But I think at least I'm a bit more confident now. If we have Burnley at home, that we're going to win. Like, that wasn't the case a couple of weeks ago. So now I think like if someone like that comes to the Emirates, or even if we play away to them, I'm fairly confident that we pick up a win. So we found our ability to win again. We found our ability to be competent on both ends of the pitch. and we also found some attacking fluidity as well as some partnerships on the pitch. So, yeah, at the moment is really positive. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got inside information that our praise of Partey actually pisses a lot of rival fans off. So I think we should have a little segment just in case the pagans are listening, the ups are listening. Yeah, so they don't really like to, they don't like it when we get happy about certain things in it. So I think just slide it in there.
Put that Partey intro back in. I know
Yeah.
that.
Oh, don't you worry. It's already in there, mate. Don't you worry. We've already got loads of nuts, right? Don't you worry about it.
Literally, we are. And the thing is, I'm not really one to quickly back our players. We know that, but I'm telling you, that man's top 3 in the league centre mid. Top 3 centre mids in the league, no doubt about it. No.
Is the other two?
We haven't. No, they're not important. They're not important, man. Let's keep it Arsenal. He's in the top 3. The other 2 are not important. Let's not give anyone.
It's fine.
Let's keep it Arsenal. But the thing is, we haven't seen anything really from Partey yet, really, because he's not played enough games to really find a rhythm or find a groove, and I think that's the thing to look forward to. As well as he is playing now, we're seeing little glimpses and pockets. So he's not fully fit. He's not really found a rhythm. The team fluidity is still a little bit. There's some room to go. So I think when he does hit that, it's scary. But yeah, he's got to do it, of course.
He only has one direction. It's forward. And we're not used to seeing it. So maybe there's like a part of us that maybe are I don't want to bring a downer on it. Maybe there's a part of us that are, maybe over-egging it a bit, maybe overdoing how well he has played, maybe simply because we just haven't seen someone do what he's doing for so long. But yeah, literally, when his only gear is forward, he's always looking up. Like some of the passes he was playing, they're quite complex passes, but he makes them look so easy. Especially the ones that he's playing, that he sort of like fakes to hit it out wide, but then uses the inside. Disguise it. He does that so much, and he plays it. He plays passes so close to the opposition, but they can't react quick enough to it. And the way he passes lines for fun, it's scary. It's scary. If we can put good quality around him, and this is where we need to, as a club, not to fuck up, because we've had players of his ilk before. We've had the Özils, we've had the Alexis Sanchez's, the Cesc Fabregas's, the Van Persie's. Partey's well in their mold, right? But we haven't built teams around these players, and that is why we are in the position we're in now, because we haven't been able to build on that quality that we've had. So hopefully the club can show some fucking bollocks and go out there and sign some quality to go around them. Because as much as Leroy said Xhaka played well yesterday, I don't think he did play well against Palace. Leroy, I don't know if you did refer to the Palace game as one of the games he did play well. I don't think he did play well against Palace, but he needs a partner in there that's gonna add even more quality. We need, as well as Emil Smith Rowe has done, we need, we'll get on to the number 10 conversation because there's been an interesting rumor today. We just need to surround him with quality, man, out wide, centrally, and with him in the team, anything is possible.
Anything.
Anything is possible. Anything.
The thing about Partey is, as he touched on the disguised passes and his quality, it's just the way he plays his game. Like I always say, like there's players that just the way they interpret football and play the game has a big effect and knock-on effect on other players. So the fact that players played with him now a couple of times, like I think Xhaka has realized, listen, this guy is the guy. So I'm gonna just give him the ball. Whereas before,
he's a lot better than me.
Before Xhaka was still trying to do the thing. Now he's just like, I'm gonna try to facilitate Partey, and then you have other players now realizing I can be between the lines, and there might be one or two players around me, and it might be a bit tight, but he could still find me. So I feel like he has a knock-on effect onto how other players approach the game, and also on how other players try affect the game. And that's only a good player can do that.
And he's introduced, and I think he adds the dynamic of that verticality as well. So you could see how many times he got on the ball and players just started making runs, because they knew, and especially Smith Rowe, he made that. Obviously, he got the assist from it, but that run and that pass happened a few times. A few times it found him. I think 1 or 2 occasions it found Aubameyang, and they just knew, and they had faith and confidence that like he's gonna find me, he's gonna pick me out with the pass. So that's it. And you can see like ESR slowed down a tiny bit, but he didn't have to break his speed too much. Like when the ball came to him and the way he took that touch to get it under, he didn't really have to break his stride, and that also helped in terms of carrying the ball forward. And then what comes, you know what I mean? In fact, no, that wasn't the one for the goal. I don't think the one for the goal didn't come from Partey. But yeah, man,
I know what one you're talking about.
Mate.
Hey, your mic is fucked. What's going on?
Hey, that's the remix chat, yeah.
Yeah, that's the garage DJ thing. Hey, just turn your ace.
Scary, very, very scary.
What the hell's going on, bro?
Reload for a second, and I was like, "Yo,
It's the after party remix, bro.
Just talking on Emil Smith Rowe. Hopefully, Shabs gets his mic sorted and we don't get any too many more remixes. But just talking about Emil Smith Rowe, I'm not going to be shameless today. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on where do we rate this young player? Like, if we've already said that, you know, Leroy's put his neck out and said Partey top 3 centre mids in the Premier League. Where do we put Emil Smith Rowe in the conversation of Premier League, you know, youngsters? Is he in the same mold as like a Saka? Me personally, I think obviously you got your Fodens who are clear. Maybe then you got like a Greenwood, and then you got your Saka kind of level. Where does Emil Smith Rowe rank in that conversation?
I think for me, you know, we're not seeing enough of him yet. I don't think he's showcased all of his talents just yet, you know. But what I would say is I am impressed with him. I think he's a good talent. I think he's a very solid player. You know, I think the fact that he's come into the team and he's not looked out of place, I don't think, at any point in these sort of 6 games that he's featured in recent weeks. And I think that's a big compliment to the guy. I think, what was it? Jamie Carragher said on Monday Night Football that he could have played in sort of like the old Wenger teams. I don't think he was saying, you know, oh yeah, he's as good as the Invincibles, but I think just the style of play and the intelligence that he plays with, you know, he could play in a lot of Arsenal sides in the past. So, and I think the best thing about him is his technique and his intelligence, right? So like Shabs mentioned that move in the first half where Partey plays the switch out to Smith Rowe running in behind on the left. And I think the actual fact that he's able to take that on the run and not break his stride, it's a good first touch, allows him to see what's about in the box, and he finds Aubameyang on the edge. I think that a lot of players can't do that, you know, and I think that's not something to be underrated. The fact that he could receive the ball and execute in that manner so easily and made it look so effortlessly shouldn't be underrated. And I think he is a very, very good player. But I don't want to go too far and say, oh yeah, he's right up there. He's like top 5 youngsters in the league, this, that, and the other.
Is anyone willing to do that?
No.
Lewis, I think you want to do it.
Not yet. Give me a couple months. And I'll revise.
Only took you a game with Ceballos. What's holding you back with Smith Rowe? Only took you a game with Ceballos.
The thing is, the thing is with Smith Rowe as well. That age group for England, it's a really, really good age group. Though. Like, there's a lot of talented boys there.
It's quite conceivable that he doesn't really get much recognition. Like, you know, maybe like the Paul Merson's that kind of level, you know.
Oh, don't do that to him.
No, but you know, because Paul Merson was like, that's not meant to be a criticism. I'm saying like Paul Merson was like a proper baller, yeah, for Arsenal, like Arsenal legends, yeah. But if I look at for England, how many England caps did he have? Maybe he had quite a lot, but he only had 21 England caps.
Yeah, but I just think
I don't know what's going on.
No, it's not
your mic is moving mad. Like
Kevin's in the Matrix.
It's not. Yeah. Let's not blame it on my mic. It's StreamYard, but
but my point is I feel like he could be that kind of player. He's not your top talents, but maybe he could still be a really great player.
See, I wouldn't say one or the other. I think what we did last time, or I say you, Lou, last time was shoehorn the talent too quickly into a category. So
who did I do that with?
No. Let's get past that one.
I've never been guilty of that, mate. All right.
But honestly, I think we talked on the Patreon piece that assessing talent. Like we just need to take our time with some of the talent. We obviously seen quite a few good things from Smith Rowe already, but like I think there's more to come. I'm not sure how much of a final ball player he is. I don't at the moment actually think he doesn't look like much of a final ball player at all. But I think he can shoot. I think he can shoot more, and I think the way he creates this through invading space and playing quick 1-2s, and he plays a lot of 1 or 2 touches. So that's how he creates, kind of thing. So the type of playmaker he is might be different to the type of regular playmaker who's just look like a Bruno Fernandes just looks for the final pass. Like Smith Rowe
did say that, didn't he? He did say, he mentioned Fernandes is like one of his favorite players or something, right?
He said he wants to get his stats up, but I think the way he plays the game it's like more measured. It's like a different kind of way of playing the game. So I'd like to just see more of it, and then you can make a better judgment, because I just look at Saka's trajectory just to kind of compare it, and then if you look at where he was last year at this point to where he is now, like you wouldn't have thought. And to me, Saka looks like a special talent. So, and last year he looked like a very good talent. You know that there is something that can happen, or not. And of course, it might not happen with ESR. It might be even more than so with Saka. So, ideally, I'd just like to see him play more, get more opportunities, and then we can assess him better. I think with more games.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think consistency goes a long way, you know, and I think let's not jump the gun. He has just come in. Like I was just asking for him to have played 10 games. You know, I'm happy with what his output's been in his games so far. And yeah, man, like let's just not jump the gun. Let's not rush him. Let's just enjoy what he's doing and see what else he can continue to do.
Leroy, any final thoughts on ESR? I'm hoping for
so
for you to stick your head on that. Go on.
With ESR, yeah. So I feel like what we've seen at the moment, he's still playing with the safety on. I feel like he's facilitating play and he's doing things very quickly and he's playing the simple pass and playing what he sees. But that's not the ESR that I remember seeing at youth level. The ESR I saw at youth level had a lot more about him. And I feel like when he gets a bit more confident and when he gets a bit more up to the level physically, because he is quick, but I feel like he's still, I feel like he's underdeveloped for a 20-year-old, if that makes sense. I feel like he's still got a lot more developing to do physically. So I think in the next sort of 2 and 3 years, as he develops physically and as he gets more confident and he's more assured of his place in the team, I feel like we'll see a real big up spike in ESR's work, provided he doesn't get injured, etc. I feel like Saka's special. Saka's. I mean, we were so wrong about that guy. We were so wrong about that guy because
not we.
Okay, some of us, and
just me and you, Leroy. Just me and you. It's all right. We'll take the slaps.
I feel like a big part of that is his intelligence and his mental work and the type of kid he seems to be. And he seems quite humble. He seems on improving, etc. So we need to see if someone like Smith Rowe has that same kind of mentality and that same kind of work rate, because that's a big part of improving as a young player. You've got to have it in your head, and a lot of our senior players don't have that, and that's why they haven't even improved when they've come into the league. So I still think there's a lot of improvement in ESR to go. So I don't want to put a stamp on him too soon. I want to let him flourish, and then we'll see in a year or two where he sits.
And I'm not going to lie as well. I think a very interesting aspect of him that I like this season is so obviously in the numbers he's actually getting. in the games that he's played, they are quite good. So in terms of men's football that he's played this season, I think it's 5 appearances in the Prem, 3 in the Europa, and 1 FA Cup.
Yes.
So he's got 2 goals and 5 assists, I think, in 9 games, and he's only, I think it's something like 6 starts of those 9 games. The rest he's come off the bench to have impact as well. So, and the type of assists that he's getting, I think it's a real sign of the intelligence that he has and the positions that he picks up, because a lot of them are he's putting one-touch finishes for the guy who eventually scores. Do you know what I mean? He's cutbacks from the top of the box because he's the one that's come in behind the defense, and the goals that he scored as well is from nice third man runs into the box as well. So it's a very different type of number 10, I think, to someone like a Ozil and a Bruno Fernandes, that he's not necessarily breaking deep blocks down or breaking defenses down with passing, but he is with his own movement as well. And I think that's something that should be noted.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. And I've got one final point on this. Where was Grealish when he was his age? Where was Madison? Where were they? Do you know, like, it's one of the ones where those type of talents can emerge and all of a sudden be like, they can be stars. Like, you know, it's like, I don't think people looked at Grealish or Madison as the guys when they were 19, 20, but they're the guys now, isn't it?
Grealish was
very good point.
Well, Grealish was at Villa. This was their
Yeah,
relegation
like,
season.
the way
5
people
years
looked
ago,
at him as in like premium talent, I don't think they looked at him like that. Yeah, he's a good talent.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Grealish when he was 20, he had just come back from a loan spell at Notts County.
But that type of that position is very, very difficult to play at that age, especially the way he plays it. So the fact that he's playing it and doing well is a very, very big tick by his name. I just think he just needs to stay free of injuries, and we need to see who we buy so he gets enough minutes. And going back to Dan's point, a lot of it is about intelligence, and a lot of it, like, was it yourself who made the Van der Beek comparison? I think that's a fantastic comparison. I feel like he plays the position like Van der Beek with a bit more to his game. So I feel we've got. I mean, a lot of us have said ESR has been very, very talented for a long time. But I don't even think we're seeing. I don't think we scratched the surface of what he can do. Lewis, shut up. Exciting time about that player. I mean, ESR and Saka single-handedly made Arsenal fun to watch again.
Yeah,
so,
facts.
Agreed.
I think and also there's a lot to be said. We're talking about his output in terms of actual goals and assists, but there's a lot to be said for the chances he's creating as well. He's creating chances which are not being finished, which aren't being put away. And
I think second most chance created since he came into the side, I believe, since the Boxing Day, I think.
That's it. And
small sample size, but you know.
Yeah, and it is big. It's big. You do have to have some kind of you do have to have the right mentality to come into this side, which was dire, which was bereft of trying to of creating chances, and you're looking at senior players who've absolutely been disgraced by this guy who's come in and just been consistent in the 6 games, 7 games that he's played. You know, so I couldn't speak higher of him at the moment. He's made us fun to watch, as Leroy said. So, like, credit to him.
Definitely. I feel quite vindicated by our sticking by Aubameyang at the moment. I feel like that game was a game that has been waiting to happen over the last few games, I would say. You know, I was a little bit disappointed that Arteta took him off, but, you know, I understood it in the end. He is a 31-year-old. Save him while you can, kind of thing, because he has played a lot of football, even though he's been shit for most of it.
But they said that he needed to go toilet.
Oh, really? Is that the reason he came off? Was it?
Yeah,
he had to come off and take a toilet break.
Okay, fair enough. He didn't want the hat trick that badly then.
Major calls, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked him to get that hat trick, obviously, but you know, on the night he could have had probably maybe 3 or 4 goals. He missed that great chance in the first half, and I think we've been saying for a few weeks now, yes, the performance isn't great, but the performance isn't much different to what he served up for his whole Arsenal career. So the only difference is he's not scoring goals. And yes, we've all said that about Aubameyang. You know, if he isn't scoring goals, he isn't doing much. But if you give the man chances, you put the ball in the right areas, he's going to score goals eventually. And I think hopefully we're seeing now that if we can continue with this setup, continue with this crop of players, then we can start getting Aubameyang firing again. And if Aubameyang's firing again, the only way the only place we're going up in is up. You know, that's facts essentially. That's facts. Like if Aubameyang's scoring goals, we're gonna go up the league, right? So,
yeah. Mojo is back.
Sorry.
Let's hope the mojo is back, innit?
Let's hope so. I'm still not completely convinced that he's, you know, got fully back to his, you know, one shot, one goal kind of thing, because, you know, he did miss a good chance early on, but it's, you know, it's promising that he's getting into the positions. He's not washed like some people were trying to fob him off as. Like, I don't think he's shot physically. Like a lot of people were saying he can't be asked, physically gone, people making those kind of conclusions. I never thought it was that.
I think the comments were stupid. A lot of the comments came from the ops anyway. They're non-Arsenal fans.
No, a lot of Arsenal fans were, Shab. A lot of Arsenal fans were.
Yeah, I weren't
catching him. I think it's crazy.
There was a lot. I think
that must be fair as well about this whole. We give, you know, we've been burned in it as far as giving players contracts, big contracts, and then not seeing returns or dividends. But I think it's crazy when you consider the bigger picture. The context was that. You know, he's playing further away from goal first and foremost. Second, he's playing in a side that's not creating chances. So that affects his game, that affects his confidence, that affects his form. So I didn't ever think he was just going to be able to turn it back on. I'm not even necessarily saying now that he turned a leaf. For me, it's just positive that he's got goals. I want him to play again. I want him to get more chances. I want him to get more goals, because I do think he definitely could have had more than the two. You know, it's a bit of rustiness. Maybe a bit of, you know, lack of confidence, doubting himself or whatever. But the more goals he scores, the better it is for us all. And I do think, like, you know, his performance generally was good, as was Lacazette's. I think Lacazette played all right, you know, and I'm quite harsh on Lacazette.
I didn't really notice him, to be fair.
I think he played all right. I'm not saying like it was one of his better games, but I think he played all right. And I'm looking at the two of them and saying, actually, like, because I've just been one of these people who's never been for them to being on the pitch together. I just think, nah, I'm not having it. But actually, maybe that's how bad Newcastle were. But I think
Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe are doing a very good job of making Lacazette look good. I really do think they have a big part to play in Lacazette's.
That's fair play.
Because you need to get players around him, right? You need to. He's not gonna run. He's not your most technically proficient footballer, even though he's better than Aubameyang in that regard. But if you can get bodies around him, he can make the ball stick. He's not bad as a bit of a bounce board, but he's. I think
what ESR said about him was interesting as well. ESR spoke about Lacazette being a guy who, was probably looked after him the most off the pitch, and giving him the most advice and gives him encouragement. And I agree with you as well. Like,
shisha bar, man.
And Saka. Say it again.
I'm sure he's taken him to some shisha spot somewhere.
No, man, it's all locked down, man.
Some illegal shisha bars.
Man, it's all locked down. It's all locked down. It's not happening.
As long as they ain't doing balloons, then
stop slandering our players. Stop slandering our guys when they're doing all right. German Dan, what's the matter with you, man? Stop slandering our guys when they're doing all right.
What's your slandering nobody,
bro? On, man.
Were there any other performances or parts of the game that you guys wanted to touch on?
I can't lie. I think Cedric made a good account for himself in this game.
Would you keep him in for the next game?
I would, to be honest. What really annoyed me, Bellerin gets in good positions. If you watch the games, he makes good runs, gets in good positions. Execution lacks on too many occasions, and it's very, very frustrating. And maybe Cedric doesn't get in the positions as much as Bellerin, but his execution is better. I'd rather see him for a little bit than Bellerin.
Who's a better defender?
I think really Bellerin doesn't really defend that well, so it doesn't actually matter. So if Cedric can give us something going forward, I'm for having him having the run in the side. Because at the end of the day, 80 minutes is the only one that really defends well 1v1 and has the physical capabilities up and down to do it 90 minutes, I think. But he is in the gulag. Like he's not doing
out of here. Yeah,
Yeah, that boy is in he's in Guantanamo Bay, man.
It will be interesting to see if Cedric does get the nod in the next game because did he play against Southampton last year? I've got a feeling that he played against Southampton away last season.
Did he
It might have been
score?
one of his first games.
Was that the game he scored in?
Was that the game he scored in?
No, he scored. We beat someone 4-0. Cedric scored the fourth.
I seem to remember him playing Southampton, but would you?
Was it
That
Sheffield?
was Norwich.
Might have been.
Cedric played his debut.
Yeah.
Would you guys look to keep him in the side like German Dan suggested, or would you look to bring Bellerin in? I think.
I don't know. I think for me, it's just about you do want to pick the informed players, right? So I don't particularly agree with sort of chopping and changing guys because you have favourites and that. So I think if it is a meritocracy and those two are the rotation options, if one has a good performance, let him keep his place. I don't know, like Southampton, they're a bit of a funny side the way they play with a 4-2-2-2. So I don't know if someone like a Nathan Redmond or something will play and give him that much stress. Because I don't. It's either him or Gineppo. I think they play on the left side, and Walcott plays on the right side. So, it just depends on whether you think he can handle that sort of opposition. I personally think, he had a good game. Let's see if he can string a run of performances together. If he gets pressured and he gets packed in against Southampton, then Bellerin comes in for the next game.
That's it. If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's move on to some news surrounding the club today. Then, so today, I don't want to get too gassed on that. I'm sure Leroy is going to be upset that we're even talking about it. But we're trying to speak it into existence. Yeah, we've already got Sean doing the prayers in tongues, so we need to. We need to carry that on the podcast, right?
Yeah,
So
all this manifest bullshit is bollocks, brother. We're not tricks. We don't do that. I'm not feeling.
When it happens, you won't be saying that because we manifest the party.
It ain't happening. Like, stop it. It's not happening.
You got to write down your goals and pray on them. Yeah, that's what we got to do. Yeah?
Exactly.
You have to act on them every single day.
You work towards it.
Oh, what? You're gonna drive to Madrid?
No. I'm just gonna at everyone I can on Insta and Twitter, innit? Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's my contribution.
Well, you might not have to do it.
Edu's son. He's terrorizing Edu's son on the socials.
Tell his dad to stop barbecuing. Yeah.
Well, apparently, we might have to be giving Edu some credit. I know you guys don't want to.
No, not you guys. They do.
Set man don't want to give him some credit. Yeah.
Right.
Set man. But apparently, Edu's been in talks with Odegaard since last week. So that's what the streets is saying. But, and David Ornstein has confirmed all of this.
Enthusiast, like you cannot get away from this no more.
Nah, bro, I'm just not for the bullshit. No, I'm not for the bullshit. I'm not for the bullshit.
Apparently, we face stern competition from Sociedad and Sevilla. Very stern indeed. So, Leroy, what is your thought? Let me go to the negative Nancy first, right? Let's get the negativity out of the way, and then we could just go full on with our positivity, all right? So let's get Leroy out of the way, and then we mute him so he can't interrupt. Right, Leroy, why is Martin Odegaard not happening?
Because ESR has come through and he's done his thing.
Yeah.
Now, it's been documented by whoever it was saying that we want a senior. They see ESR as either a deputy to get a senior world-class number 10 or creative playmaker, but they're probably going to get that person in summer. So I don't see them signing someone who's only 2 years older than ESR or 1 and 2 years older than ESR.
So are we just bidding for the fun of it then?
No, because we wanted to get him on loan. The thing is, I can see us getting him on. I can't see us getting him on loan because I just don't see it happening. So,
but why though?
What?
But why?
Because one, I don't see us getting someone who's only a little bit older than ESR because it really makes sense. He's not an established player. He's not like a. He's not proved himself. I think they want more of a sure thing on loan. Or I can see them going for someone like an Isco over him. Then the other thing is, I think Martin Odegaard had a horrible time at Real Madrid. He He's not trusted, and he's going to want to go back to comfort zone where he knows he's going to get minutes, he knows he's going to get played, and he feels comfortable. The last thing he's going to want to go to is another uncertain environment. So he's in the same situation he was in Madrid, to now have to adapt into a new country he's never played in. He's only there for 6 months with no guarantees he's staying there. Doesn't really make sense. Doesn't really make sense. If they sell it to him and say, look, this is a project, we're going to sign you, and it's just a loan with option or obligation to buy, but they say it to him like, we're definitely signing you in summer, that's a different story. But then I don't see them doing that because of the ESR and the age thing. I think they want a ready-made, I think they want someone who's certified now, and then ESR be the understudy. So that's just my thinking behind it.
I hear the latter part. I don't think we would be bidding for a player if we weren't interested in him coming in straight away, right? So I feel like it's true, and I feel like we do want him. I do agree with you in the part of him wanting minutes and him wanting certain guarantees. But just in your point about him being a senior, not being senior enough option, this is Odegaard's 4th senior year. Like in terms of getting first team minutes, I think he already had a loan spell at Herenveen. I think that was his first one. He's had one at maybe 2 at Sociedad. Is it 2 at Sociedad or one at somewhere else? 1 at Sociedad and 1 at Sociedad at Vitesse. Sorry, and this is his 4th senior season at Madrid. Yeah, it hasn't gone quite to plan, but I do think there is a substantial difference between him and ESR. ESR has probably got less than 50 pro appearances. Odegaard's probably at close to 200. So I do think there is a lot of experience difference between the two. But I don't feel like he is particularly fussed about changing countries, because he moved to Real Madrid when he was 15 years old, was he? He was about 15 years old. Went from Norway to Real Madrid. He's been on loan in Holland, elsewhere in Spain.
That's not the Prem. The players aren't stupid. Players know the Prem is a difficult league to adapt in, particularly if you're in the mixer in a very congested area in midfield like that. And it's like he would, for example, I don't think he'd bat twice about going on loan to somewhere in Holland, for example, or going on loan to like probably even Germany. I don't think he'd even bat an eyelid. But the Prem's different, bro. I think
don't upset German Dan now, right? Don't upset him.
I will put that league in rice, bro. Like, it's not sort of thing. But yeah, I personally, I don't see the move. I don't think the move making sense.
I do think that it will probably hinge on where he wants to go. I can see him saying, I've been at Sociedad before. I know I'm going to play week in, week out, and picking them over us. One thing I would say though is, I think if you are looking at Arsenal and you see yourself as a 10, and you're seeing Smith Rowe as being your only competition, this is a guy coming here and thinking, you know what, boom, I'm going to play every week, kind of thing. Similar to Dani Ceballos when he's coming here and he's looking at, Xhaka, El Neni, Torreira, Guendouzi. He's like, well, I'm better than these men, so I'm gonna be starting ahead of them. And I think, from an Arsenal perspective, it's probably the ideal situation where you do have sort of two young players, because you can easily bench one of them, and they'll be more likely to accept that and take minutes on the bench, because you can sort of rotate them a bit more. I think in the case where you do get someone like an Isco, I think he's going to be expecting to play every week, and then that is where you do get the development of someone like a Smith Rowe being blocked and pathways being blocked in that way, because the established player is going to be more likely the one that's starting more minutes, and I think that as well as that, I think they can also play together. I think Odegaard and Smith Rowe can both play as 8s, and they have done in the past, and that might be something that tactically might interest Arteta to do in a sort of 4-3-3 with Partey holding at the base. So, but I do think Leroy's right that it will come down to the player's decision, and I can see a couple of reasons why he wouldn't decide to come here, but I think we can throw in a couple of sweeteners to Madrid. Throw him a couple of sweeteners, get him a few snaps of a nice flat over somewhere in Hampstead. Get Lacazette to tell him about the shisha bars and that in and about the local area. You know, there'll be a few nice sweeteners we can chuck in.
You know, and I agree with a lot of the points you guys says that. You know what the thing is with Odegaard? I think if he picks Sociedad, it's just because what the Euros are in the summer, right? After the season, they're the Euros, so he wants to play. He's gonna get picked for Norway anyway, but he wants to play, I guess. So I can see that maybe as I go there for 6 months and I definitely play kind of thing because I need to be ready for playing in the Euros. But I think we definitely have a chance, and there's obvious interest from our side, which has been confirmed by Ornstein today that we actually put in a bit. And I also don't quite buy the age stuff with Smith Rowe because we're in for Buendia, who's like 24 as well. He's not a world class number 10, so that story doesn't quite align with the players we actually linked with. And Brandt is 24, 25 as well. He's a very good player, but he's also not a confirmed world.
How old is Aouar?
I was 22.
22,
No, it's
23.
23. It's 23. I was at least 23.
Yeah,
No, he's 22. He's 22.
22. Yeah, 22, 23. So
Yeah,
there's
22.
not much
How old's Odegaard? 22, yeah?
22 or 21. Like,
Yeah,
there's
it's
not
22.
a big age between these men. Like, I'm not seeing us linked with a proper world-class established talent.
Brandt and Buendia are arguably going into their prime.
Brandt,
You see,
I just don't think the age thing is something that I quite agree with.
yeah,
Buendia has played the same amount of basically essentially the same amount of pro games as Odegaard has.
I'm with German. Leroy, I do hear your reasoning. However, there's a couple of factors for me. It's a loan, not a permanent signing. It's something that means that he can and get football over the next, between now and the end of the season. He's, extremely talented. He had a blinding season last season. He's been overlooked by Zidane. He wants to play. I think there's also the thing about him coming to the Premier League that also raises his profile. He wants out of Real Madrid. You know, if the wanting out of Real Madrid rumors are true, then he's going to be looking to play for a move. So it's in his interest, because if he comes here, really we're underperforming side. All he has to do is play at a semi-decent level between now and May. He's sorted. He'll stand out. If it boosts our stock and our position in the table, is wonderful for us. It's wonderful for him. So it's kind of win-win. I think the situation with Sociedad's a bit different this season as well. They were until recently in the title chase. They signed David Silva in the summer as well. He's like a key part of their midfield. He starts a lot of games for them. They've got Ayazabal as well. So these are their attacking outputs. They tend to play like a 4-3-3. These are their attacking outputs. Obviously, you can never have too much quality. He's familiar with the team, with the coach, with the location, with the nation. So yeah, there are factors that go in his favor, but there are factors which go against. And I think I'm not sure he'll be in the same place in the pecking order where to go there now on loan, as he was when he started the season on loan there last year. So I don't know. And with the age profile stuff, again, Lewis made points about his experience, and I think in comparison to ESR, he is he's got a lot of experience at a higher level as well. So I'm not I think that as well, how I read that comment by the club was in relation to a permanent signing, and also Odegaard wasn't a realistic target a couple of weeks ago either. I don't think that he was someone who was on our radar before a couple of weeks ago. If the rumors are true, we've made contact with Edu, who's made contact with him last week. So let's see what comes of it. But I'm low key optimistic that we can make this kind of thing happen on loan. It's exactly the type of business that we should be doing. And personally, I would love it to happen, because a couple of men are going to have to go back and on their word or their opinion about Edu, and just say, actually, fair play. Let's not praise it. Fair play. No.
You love it too, man. Stop doing this propaganda and say he's not your guy, bro. If you say he's your guy, then we can have an honest conversation.
Nah, he's not. But he's not my guy. He's not my guy. I've never called him my guy. What I'm
You're
saying.
asking me to give him credit, bro. Like,
You see how I didn't name German Dan. You see how I didn't name German Dan. My German Dan.
For real, it's daily though. It's daily. You're on his defense daily.
No, I'm not defending. So you don't have to understand that. Let me just say it to the public. Yeah? In the group chat, there's the kind of like looks like there's a for Edu and against Edu. I'm never for Edu. I've never ever said I'm for him. By the way, all I'm saying is that certain men come out and are onto him every single day, whether there's transfer news or not. I'm saying, cool, get onto him for the things that he hasn't done. But when he does something positive, or not even positive, when he does his job, you lot ain't coming with the same energy. So I'm saying you lot ain't balanced then. You, German Dan, are the biggest one who says, oh, we have to be objective in our analysis. Are you being objective in your analysis? Are you being objective?
He's calling you out, Dan. He's calling you out.
Don't
let me respond.
Edu evangelist. I'm not for him. I'm just saying. Come with the same energy when his name is associated with positive things. Come with the same energy.
I definitely will.
That's all I'm saying.
Where it differs for me is that I think Edu has not been doing a good job before, or in summer, on a lot of our outings, and which has stifled our season. So I think, and a lot of the outings they're happening now. Yeah, of course, but a lot of the outgoings are happening now, like Kolasinac could have happened in the summer, Socrates could have happened in the summer. I understand Ozil and Mustafi, so I'm being objective. Ozil and Ozil going this month is also not really doing his job. That's Ozil realizing he's not going to play for another 6 months and he wants to leave. And the same might happen with Mustafi if he doesn't get offered another contract. But yeah, that he might leave as well. But with Kolasinac, it was clear that he was going to leave at some point, either in Jan or in the summer. It was clear that Socrates was going to leave. Like, these are things that are, for me, look like a fairly straightforward thing. It's not, and it's not comparable for when Raul was trying to get Ozil out, because the contract length was way different. This is like the end of the contract now. Same as with Socrates. If someone wants to get Socrates out last year, Jan, it's not the same as trying to get him out this summer or in Jan now, because the contract is shorter and it's an easier conversation, an easier thing to do. The leverage is more with you, or you have like it's an easier conversation. And I will give Edu credit if he makes the right things for us in the market. Like, it's very simple. And so far he hasn't. Like,
so the thing is, 750k a week off
let Joe and Dan say as well.
I didn't single you out. You're guilty. You answered because you're guilty. I didn't single you out. I didn't name no names.
Listen, I'm telling you, but I'm an opposer of it too. Yes, that's me.
Shabs, I think
let's settle down. Let's go on.
I think where we differ, right, is I'm not going to give a guy credit. Like, it's like what they say, you don't want to applaud a fish for swimming in it, right? Do you get what I mean? Right, and it's because, and I'll be critical of Edu in the summer because I feel there were certain things within his remit that clearly didn't go to plan. The whole Saliba situation, couldn't get the loan done in time. All of that stuff, couldn't get Kolasinac off the books, even though this is a guy who, even I think the manager even came out and said had wanted to leave for personal reasons. Do you know what I mean? Socrates, the report said, there were a lot of clubs interested in taking him on a free transfer and whatnot. So for me, these are major failings because, for all intents and purposes, because we couldn't get these guys out, we didn't have the wage space or the space on the balance sheet to go and get an attacking player in, right? So then, if 6 months later he's now rectifying these mistakes and being like, "Well, fine, now I'm going to get these guys on," I'm not going to turn around and start clapping, because we played 19 games, where we've dropped points. We're 10th in the league because you weren't doing your job. Do you know what I'm saying, right? So from here on out, I will give him credit for the things that he does going forward, as long as, they're beneficial to the club. If he goes out and gets Martin Odegaard or something on loan for 6 months with an option to buy, something like that, I definitely will be giving him credit, because that's something that I didn't think was expected, right? But I'm not going to give him credit.
I don't want German Dan to give him credit. I don't want German Dan to speak when Odegaard don't speak.
I will. I'm absolutely shameless, and I will. And I've said I will give him credit if he does his job well.
Shameless. And I think I've got you on record, on live.
It's very simple. I'll give a man credit when he does his job well.
And I think, there were circumstances in summer, so you can say, oh yeah, we were being harsh because obviously Raul got sacked and all of these. There was all the goings on with Tim Lewis in the background, 55 redundancies, all of this stuff. So his bandwidth was thinner, right? But for me, you have to be judged on your results and your actions. As a technical director, it's going to be, the outcomes of the decisions that you make that we evaluate you on, right? So if he does something, we push up the table, and we finish in a European spot at the end of the season. Yeah, I'll give him credit, right? If in summer, him and Arteta have been talking about this plan and he puts that plan into action, we end up with signing a Grealish or something like that, just doing a madness in the window. Yeah, I'll give him credit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that Marina Granovskaya or whatever from Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? People are bigging her up this summer because she was moving mad in the window. Do you get? So I can't give Edu credit for cancelling contracts 6 months before they expire. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's not what you're here to do. You're here to propel us up the table. Do you get what I'm saying? So yes, the wage bill is clear, but now, boom, go spend it and invest it in things that put us at the table, and that's where I'll start saying, yeah, you've done a mad job.
And what if he had got Saliba out on loan, which was a late call, by the way, and this is why I think we're being harsh. That was a late call from the manager. That was a late call from the coach who had him for most of the preseason and then said, actually, he's not ready. So he's then negotiating, trying to get Aouar over the line, trying to get Partey over the line. You know what I mean? What if he can't take his eye off that, which is significant for us, by allowing Saliba, by focusing his efforts on the Saliba outgoing on loan? Do you see what I'm saying? And it's him. It sounds like him doing it on his own.
I don't even think it's a late call, though. I don't think it's a late call because it
was a late call.
In the recent Saliba interview that he gave, he said the manager told him straight away he was not ready. Yeah, number one. Number two, Rob Holding was going on loan.
The holding stuff.
And that happened early September, right? So we still had a whole over a month, I think, to get Saliba out the door if Holding was going to be
enough time to keep his eye on the Holding loan.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? So it's like they said he's Holding now going to stay, right? So if Holding and Luiz are going to be your first two choice right backs, that Saliba's not staying. And then on top of that, you didn't get him alone and didn't register him in Europa. So you 100% need to get him alone to the Championship whilst that window's still open. They didn't do that either. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm not having that. It was a late call. They definitely had enough time
to do partition to Arteta, and that's not something that we need to debate because we debate this every day. This is
let's move on a little bit. Leroy, I want you to have the last word on this. I want you to settle the debate. Who is right here? Who is wrong?
I've said I'm with Shabs. I've said that in the group chat. Like,
so you think the boys are not giving Edu enough credit?
I mean, if someone shows you a spoon, you say it's a spoon. If someone shows you a fork, you say it's a fork. If someone shows you a knife, you say it's a knife. When he's doing things that are shit, we'll say, look, he's not done good there. But then you always add nuance and context because, like you say, Raul went unexpectedly, randomly halfway through the window. Yeah, but you see the quotes. His head was on fire with all the deals. Like he's only one man, so you got to prioritize and do what you got to do. Now he's done. Like, how many people have tried to get Ozil out early? Bare people have tried.
I would say context, Leroy. Context, though.
Yeah. Give it credit. Yeah, cool. But he's done good things now as he's doing them, and you just got to give him credit where credit's due, in my opinion.
I mean, if you're in school and you do the basics, I don't think you get credit for that. You get credit for excelling and stuff. So if I have a son and he's doing the basics after doing the wrong thing for 3 months, I'm gonna say, yeah, well done, but you need to do better than what you did.
If your son's a winger on the 10 Sunday league and he dubs his man, goes past him, and then flings in a ball, but then it goes like he's done his job because his winger's supposed to beat his man and like providing a chance. I'm kind of saying, good work, son. Do you know what I mean? I'm not mad. I'm saying good work, son. Like you beat your man and you got the ball in. Okay, it didn't happen to goal, but keep it where it's due, bruv. Like it's simple as that.
Nothing on the plate, man.
Let's leave that there. I think that was a pretty comprehensive debate. Before we round things up, actually, I just wanted to ask one more question about the Odegaard situation. Are you guys comfortable taking? Because I remember, who was it that we were talking about? I can't remember who, but we were talking about a while ago about taking Real Madrid players on loan, you know, and doing their kind of developmental work for them only to have them back as a better player. Was it about Ceballos? Did we have that conversation about Ceballos potentially? And some people were against that loan because they didn't quite like the idea of, you know, basically taking a Real Madrid player on loan. And, you know, are we too big for that?
No way. We're struggling. Have you seen us play before this recent run of games? We need all the help that we can get. Like, there's no. I personally, people are entitled to their opinion. I don't have time for these feelings. If a player's going to come in tomorrow and help us, I'm for it. I don't care what happens. I don't care if he gets, but we need to climb the table as fast as possible. Our ultimate goal for right now is to finish in the Champions League spots. If we get Champions League football by hook or crook, which is very unlikely, but if we get it, it's a different ball game for us. You know what I mean? As far as the summer and the type of business we can do, you know what I mean? And that's a position that potentially strengthens us in a weakened market, in a weakened economy. So we need that. So anything that's going to help us get closer to that, I'm for it. Because again, kind of tapping onto not to go too much into the Edu thing, but again, he'll be hamstrung. The further down the table we finish, our business is going to be impacted. You know what I mean? Like let's not be ignorant about that. Like we're going to be restricted in terms of what we can do, and we're poor at offloading players and getting value for our players. So I think that, you know, we need to secure as much money as possible. We need to secure as high a position as possible, and then just try and do it that way. So yeah, I'll take anyone from Real Madrid who's going to bring us quality, or any other club for that matter. I don't care. It's a loan.
I guess the potential downside of it is if he has no intention of joining us permanently, you're back at square one again in 6 months' time. And I don't know. I want him to join. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like it could be an issue again 6 months down the line if we're struggling to replace another quality player that we've lost.
Again, and I think this is where it does come down to recruitment and planning, because if the recruitment plan is there's short-term plans, there's, you know, emergency plans, there's longer term plans, and if there's a proper long-term recruitment strategy, then we shouldn't be impacted really by this. And this is where the competence of the Edus and other members will show, and this is where they really should be judged. You know, it's about that. For me, it's about that. This is a short-term need. You know what I mean? From poor mismanagement, legacy, whatever. But, you know, like, I'm not going to turn my nose up at quick fixes at all. I don't care. Just come and help fix us. I'll take it.
And I think as well, you know, there is the opportunity that the player wants to stay. And from what, all the reports that I'm reading, Madrid, they're not spending a lot of money during this. They didn't spend any money, I think, in the last summer. They gave us Ceballos without a loan fee, etc. I think they would be very much open to eventually selling the player if we wanted to take him on a permanent basis as well, because everything I'm reading says that they've been saving up for this summer coming, because they want to bring in a few big names into the team. And so I think guys like Ceballos and Odegaard, who haven't managed to break into the team, if Zidane's still there, I don't think that's going to change for them going forward, you know. So I get the theory, you know, that, oh yeah, they're going to be better and Madrid's going to want to take him back. But for me, I think Odegaard had a very, very good season last year. For all intents and purposes, he was, you know, one of the stars for Sociedad and in La Liga, and he still can't get any minutes in that team. So I don't really see a good 6 months on loan at Arsenal changing Zidane's opinion of him when he's had him for the last 6 months, after, you know, some good loan spells in the past as well. So yeah,
I agree with that. I think the Real Madrid's strategy is looking at Mbappe, looking at Camavinga, and I mean, they sold Hakimi last summer and apparently haven't received a penny for it yet. So there's still owed money there. So that's money they're expected to get back in. I doubt they will commit 40 million for Reggaeton. So I think they will look to raise some funds this summer. So yeah, I think Odegaard is a good asset for them to raise funds. No matter how good he is, their team is stacked with players, so they can kind of afford doing that.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, then. I haven't got any other points, any other topic discussions. I haven't written anything down. If you guys are happy to leave, I'm happy to leave.
Well, bedtime, yeah, cool.
Yeah, definitely bedtime. Anyway, like we said, subscribe to the Touchygooners YouTube. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in live. You got the Touchline Fracas Discord page as well. And obviously, most importantly, our Patreon page. If you want the who we got next, Southampton in the FA Cup. We'll be doing a post-match podcast straight after that game, and it will be only available to Patreons. So if you want access to that, go and sign up to the Patreon, and you'll have access to that. Guys, thank you for joining me, and we'll be back with another Touchygooners next week. Cheers.
Yes.